Hello, and welcome to Lesson 7. Lesson 7 is a big one. It's on the crucifixion, it's on the significance of the crucifixion, and we are going to look at a number of key words that appear in the AQA spec in relation to the crucifixion. Before we get going, I'd like to thank Mrs. Murray for giving me the content and the time in order to deliver these lessons so that it could be a little bit more interesting and a bit more engaging for you, hopefully. And secondly, please use Show My Homework. There is a sheet on each of the YouTube clips that we do with key tasks which you need to do. The key tasks for this one, you'll find work such as activities on the sheet and also key terms to copy. In addition to that, can you please make key notes on what I'm delivering to you on the crucifixion and the significance of the crucifixion. So lesson 7 on the Christian beliefs unit. The crucifixion. It took Jesus 6 hours to die upon the cross. He was on the cross due to the crime of blasphemy, which was the Jewish reason why he was up there was essentially he was claiming to be the Son of God, and the Jews didn't like that. The second reason, the Romans wanted him crucified because he was seen to be a threat to the empire, and that he was guilty of treason. So he was hung upon the cross, and he was, as I say, left there for 6 hours. At midday, it supposedly went dark. Now, this could be a solar eclipse, could be nothing more than coincidental. It could be that he was the Son of God. But either way, it went dark, and the Bible tells us that the stone altar within the temple at that time split in half, which many historians or theologians tell us that this indicates that there's a great split within the two traditions of Christianity and Islam. Christianity and Judaism. There became a split. So it went dark at midday, and at 3 o'clock, he finally died. He said, my God, why have they forsaken me? And he was crucified amongst criminals. That was a common execution to crucify people. The individual on the right was regarded as the righteous. He asked forgiveness. He said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. To which Jesus responded, by the end of the day, we will both be together in paradise. However, the individual on his left was rather less kind, in want of a better word. So if you are the Son of God, get yourself down. You know, you're meant to be this omnipotent being. Go and do it. He had a point. Go on if you are. You can see where he's coming from. And the crucifixion was obviously is remembered by the church. It's one of the saddest days in the church calendar. And if there are any posters or flowers, all of those things are removed on this day. And often the church remembers the crucifixion by reenacting. That's not to say individuals get crucified, but a procession will often go through the community in which the church is in, holding the cross on the shoulder and stopping 3 times to represent the fact that Jesus fell 3 times before being helped by an individual called Simon of Cyrene, I understand. Other than that, Christians will attend church, and there will be special emphasis placed on something called Stations of the Cross. This sounds dead posh, but all it is, there are various pictures around the church representing in a pictorial form what happened to Jesus as he met his end. Jesus dies upon the cross. It's called Good Friday because he wipes away original sin, thus saving humanity from the doldrums of original sin which Adam and Eve committed. This process is called salvation, where Jesus is like a savior, a sacrificial lamb. He dies for all of humanity. What he also does, he atones. He brings together there's a sense of atonement at one-ment. So humanity and God can once again atone. It's this process of atonement. So Jesus is, if you will, is the bridge that brings humanity and God back together again. In addition to that, God shows something called grace. It is the metaphorical lifeguard. Some people will argue, well, how can God be loving when he allowed us to perhaps be stained with original sin and therefore distance from God? It doesn't sound like a loving God, but scholars like St. Augustine would say, well, actually, we did that. We did it. And in spite of that, God still throws that metaphorical life raft and drags us back and shows us grace. So we've got a number of key words there. We've got salvation, we've got grace, we've got atonement. And those words crop up a fair old bit for AQA, especially that atonement one, worth remembering. Guys, can I ask you to write down key words, key notes in relating to this narrative? Get your activities done. And also, if you wouldn't mind, please copy the key terms. Ping me an email with a picture, so I went like that, a picture of what you've done. Thank you very much.